So in this video, we're going to be talking about my top 5 3D printers for 2023. I've been printing now for over 4 years. I've run a print farm daily, and I wanted to come up with a list of like my top 5 printers for beginners. My goal for these printers are to pick companies that have good customer service, all around like a good community behind them, and they're just simple and easy to use. I'm hoping this video saves you some headache and frustration and gets you on the right path to 3D printing. The first printer we're going to talk about is the Prusa Mark IV, but even just the Prusa lineup in general. So you got the Mini and the Mark III. They still sell the Mark III at a discounted price, so that's a very good option. I'll leave the price on the video. But you know, Prusa do everything very well. It's open source. They've self-calibration tests within the printer, so there's no calibration needed to be done by the user. They have an excellent slicer, which is their own design and comes with its own profiles for their Prusa printers. An excellent printer all over. Some of the other things that I like about it is the customer service is supposed to be excellent. They pretty much get back to you, I think, within 24 hours on most cases. Now, you know, that does change from time to time, but you know, if you have a Mark III, you buy a Mark III and it's say $1,000, you know, you can eventually upgrade your Mark III to a Mark IV because everything is open source. There's loads of different mods available, brilliant community behind it. You know, they're fanatics about this machine, and rightly so. It's also a workhorse, so you know, if you're going to be opening a 3D printing farm, this is the printer to go with. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. PCBWay offers PCB prototyping, PCB assembly, and now they're offering CNC and 3D printing services. Get started with PCBWay. It's as easy as getting your online quote, uploading your PCB file, you'll get an order review, payment, and then they'll offer you real-time fabrication tracking through their website. I want to say a big thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the video. Another thing that really isn't mentioned about the Prusa printers, I don't think, is that most of the parts for them can be found just about anywhere. I think the hot end on the Mark IV is a bit different. It might be a bit difficult to get parts for that, but everything else, you can find them on AliExpress, no problem. And if you have a Mark III or a Mini, it's even easier. They're just all there on AliExpress or, you know, any of those websites. You get Amazon if you're more comfortable with that, but yeah, you don't have to buy them from Prusa. This printer, I think, is gonna blow up in a big way. So the printer I'm talking about is the A1 Mini from Bamboo Labs. I own a couple of Bamboo Labs machines, and quite honestly, I think they're the best thing going. So this is a more affordable, easy to use machine. It's coming in at $299 just for the unit, and I think it's like $499. I'll leave the exact number on the video, but it's cheap. The $599 or the $499 is including the AMS, so that's multicolor printing. It's essentially like if Bamboo Labs made a Prusa Mini. It's 180 by 180 build platform. It has all the same features as my P1P, I believe. Quick swap nozzles that even my P1P doesn't have. You know, it's an excellent machine. It does self-calibration. From my experience with Bamboo Labs, the customer service is good, but it does, because of the high volume of printers that they're selling, it does take maybe up to a week. So, you know, if that's not your thing, maybe don't go with it. Also, all of the parts for the Bamboo Lab printers are proprietary, so you have to buy them from Bamboo Labs. And they're not the easiest machines to work on. That's the only thing. So you kind of need to, I would advise, look up a lot of stuff, maybe about like how to maintain these printers, and see if it's something you feel comfortable with, because we all have different levels of technical skill, and you need to take that into account with this machine. So for me, I think one of the main standout features for the Anchor Make M5C is just how aesthetically pleasing it looks. So in the past, like, we had 3D printers that kind of just looked like scaffolding, you know, they were just full of aluminum extrusion. It looked like a 3D printer. Where the Anchor Make M5C, you know, it looks like something you'd find in your house. Like, it looks okay in your living room. It's not something that, you know, it's going to stand out, but for all the right reasons. Now, one of the problems with this printer is it only works through an app, so it doesn't have like a LCD or a touchscreen or anything like that. You just load models from the app basically and from their slicer. And their slicer is basically a reskinned version of Cura, Not a fan of Cura, to be honest, but I'm sure it'll work with other slicers. If you're wondering, it is from the company that makes the battery banks and the like plugs for your smartphone and stuff like that. So it's an established company, which is good. It's kind of gives you a peace of mind. The Neptune 4 Max, I think, is going to be a good printer this year to get if you're into like printing large models. So it has a build volume by 420 by 420 by 480, I believe, and it's on sale right now on the Elegoo website for €430. I'll leave the dollar amount on the video, but I think for like bang for your buck, like you just can't get any better. It also prints at like 500 millimeters a second. It has a direct drive extruder. It's a really good machine for the price. Like, especially with that large build volume, you're probably not going to find I guess that it's the most premium thing in the world, like build parts wise, but these printers have a massive following. There'll be like upgrades and mods available eventually, and I think it's just a very good printer just for like the price and the size. And I think it's running Clipper as well, which is insane. Like, it's hard to believe that we're doing that now. Like, I remember back in the day with the older machines, it was all Marlin, it was all slow. But no, this printer is excellent, I think, if you're into large format printing. Last but certainly not least, we want to talk about the Creality Ender 3 V3 SE. I think it is. Maybe. I don't know. Whoever comes up with the names, shorten them, please. But this printer is excellent for the money. So like, this printer comes in at about €219. I'll leave the dollar amount in the video. But it has a lot of same self-calibration tests. It has automatic Z offset, which is a big time saver if you've ever tried to do that on an old Ender 3. This machine is basically the predecessor of all of our modifications that we've all done over the years to an Ender 3. Creality have basically managed to cram that all into one machine. I believe this machine is running Creality OS, which is basically a reskinned version of Cura. So the only limitation is I think it only goes to 250 millimeters a second, which is slower than all the other printers, but it's also far cheaper than all the rest of them. So, I would, like, the way I look at this printer is, if you want to get into 3D printing, but you're worried about the cost or worried if you're actually going to keep it up or enjoy it, this is a good starting point because it's cheap, and if you don't like it, you're not out of pocket a whole lot. And, that's always been one of the good things about the Creality printers.